Jeff Perry. Wake up, America, we're here. I really thought that the folks in Washington and on Beacon Hill had heard us. I thought they had heard Virginia and New Jersey, as we said, and I was sure on January 19th that they had heard us. But they have not heard us. They have not heard us. They have not heard what the message is of a limited government, responsible government, fiscal responsibility, and that thing that just keeps getting in their way, the Constitution. And so in this terrible fiscal climate that we're in, you know, this is such a bad fiscal climate that this year's budget is only a little bit bigger than last year's budget. The number of state employees is only up 2,000 instead of 5,000 this year. Things are really bad. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. And don't believe it when they give you the rhetoric that this is a hateful issue. This is a nation without borders is not a nation. And so I had this idea a few years ago, because we get all these calls as legislators. Rep. Webster, all the legislators get these calls every week. We hear from someone, and many times it's someone who's been paying taxes for decades. They don't want anything from government at all. They actually want government just to get out of their way and let them live. But sometimes people need a little helping hand, whether it be a medical issue, a housing issue, and folks have been paying taxes for decades. So they embarrassingly go to government and say, I need a little helping hand just for a temporary period. They qualify, they're eligible, they get through the bureaucracy, and then they get to the end of the line and they say, sorry, there's no money left in that account for you. And one of the big reasons there's no money left in that account for you is because there's people in those lines who don't deserve to be in those lines. And so I had this idea. It's not an original idea, I'll tell you that. It's after a federal law called the SAVE, S-A-V-E system, been enacted in other states, that we should bring this law to Massachusetts. And basically what it says is when you get in any line at all for any entitlement, welfare, food stamps, housing, unemployment, workers' compensation, higher education, whichever it is, when you get in that line, you got to prove something. You got to prove, this is shocking, this is hateful, you have to prove that you are legally entitled to get that benefit. And whether that means that means you're an illegal immigrant, you're in jail, you're committing identity theft, or you're collecting a benefit in another state. This is to get at the long-term systemic abuse of our social entitlement programs. And just to show that we are not what people want us to think that we are, my amendment did not apply to children. Anyone under 18 did not apply. My amendment did not apply to emergency services. Someone shows up hungry and homeless, we need, as a society, to say, we'll take care of you tonight. My amendment did not apply to emergency medical care, immunizations, things to keep the public health right. My amendment was about adults taking advantage of our social entitlement programs for decades. Seems logical enough to me. The budget is in crisis, they say. They say they want to do something about illegal immigration. So what did we do? We pushed this amendment last year, we got 40 votes. No one was paying attention, quite frankly, so those 40 votes are probably 40 people who agree with us. And then the good people of Arizona decided to do something and take back their state, and take back their country, and pass that great law. Really earth-shaking law. We have to obey the federal law. Ooh, no, don't say that so. So the national debate is once again on illegal immigration. So we pushed this issue out during the budget to make the Massachusetts flavor my amendment, the Perry Amendment. And Dan Webster and I and some of our colleagues fought long and hard on the House floor that day. And we got 35 members to switch. 75 to 82, that's 7 difference. 4 counts as 2, 8, we would have won. So now where are we? Some Senate Republicans have proposed my amendment in the Senate budget, which is coming up next week. They're going to take that same fight to the floor of the Senate. And if they can get 21 votes, there's 40 senators, and get it into the Senate budget, we'll have it in a conference committee. Don't matter what that is. What you have to do is you have to contact your state senator early next week. Hey, fib a little. Call them all. Tell them you live everywhere. Call your state senator and say, support the Perry Amendment. Let's do something that's right fiscally. Let's do something that's right constitutionally. Let's do something that's right, period, on Beacon Hill for once. And so if we can get it into the budget, and if we can get it to the governor, then he's got to put up or shut up. Because he's been saying some things. Some things that make me not sure where he is. You know, when this governor took office, one of the first things that he did with his executive order power was he deleted the ability of our state police to investigate illegal immigrants when they come into their custody. Governor Romney had a great idea. The state police were trained, the locals were being trained, and Governor Patrick nixed it. The next thing Governor Patrick did was he decided that he wanted to push a bill to give college tuition breaks for illegal immigrants. And then the tide started to turn. My amendment came up, and I'm going to paraphrase, I'm going to get it wrong, but he said something to the effect of, well, that might be a good idea, we should look at it. So I'm not sure where this governor is on this issue. So let's get this amendment to him. Let's put it on his desk. Let's make him decide what's right or wrong for the people of Massachusetts. The governor of Arizona did the right thing. Maybe we can get this governor to do something right. Now, I am not running for re-election to my legislative seat, and I'm sure Danny Webster and the team is going to push this amendment forward in future years.
No doubt.
No doubt. But one of the things I want to do, if I'm fortunate enough to be in Congress, is to be one of those individuals who's fighting hard for immigration reform. We've had some great champions, but there just hasn't been enough political momentum in Washington to get immigration reform done. And reform, is that word overused or what? When I say immigration reform, I mean secure the damn border. I don't mean with technology. I mean with our good border patrol, with fences. How radical? Put a fence up. A real fence, not a technological fence. Secure the border. Punish employers federally, and Danny's trying to do it here in Massachusetts, but punish employers who take advantage of the system and use illegal immigrants for illegal workers. And make sure that every tax dollar is honored, meaning whenever we're about to give out a benefit, a federal benefit, a state benefit, a local benefit, it's someone who deserves it. And if we do that, if we secure the border, really secure the border, don't allow employers to take advantage of illegal immigrants who are here trying to work, and we make sure that they never get a social entitlement program, we will go a long way at addressing the problem of illegal immigrants in the country. And this is an economic thing. You know, I'm fortunate to be from the Cape, and we have a large Brazilian community. What's happening there? Our economy is not doing so well. The Brazilian economy is doing so well. Many of the folks who were here illegally have gone back to Brazil. It's an economic argument. This isn't about hate towards people. This is about security, this is about the rule of law and order, and this is about fiscal soundness. And if we do these three things, and we send messages to politicians who are doing the wrong things, we're going to wake up Washington, we're going to wake up Beacon Hill, and we're going to take our government back to the people.